What comes to your mind first when you think about Mexican culture? Mariachis, tequila, tacos, breathtaking beaches, and cactus. These are all legitimate associations, but Mexico's natural and cultural diversity includes much more than that. Find out by watching this video. Hey guides, welcome back to World Explained, the channel where we take you on a journey around the world and talk about their fascinating stories. In today's video, we will talk about the beautiful country of Mexico. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you never miss any of our uploads. One of the first fun facts about Mexico is that its name is not Mexico. Mexico's real name is the United States of Mexico, aka Estados Unidos Mexicanos. This country is divided into states like this. U.S. Mexico has 31 states and a federal district. Every state has its police, regulations, and laws. The federal district, Distrito Federal, was once the capital of Mexico. Most people believe that the capital city was always Mexico City, but this wasn't the case until 2016. It gets tricky to remember because Mexico City's metropolitan area is within the federal district. Only those living in the federal district are considered capital dwellers. Travelers tend to make their way out to Mexico for a summer vacation on the beach. Yet the country is much more than a beach destination. Mexico has a rich history, as they have 34 UNESCO World Heritage Sites within their borders. Some of the most famous historic centers include Mexico City, Puebla, and Guanajuato. It is also home to more than a handful of ancient ruins, the most famous being Chichen Itza and the agave fields of tequila. The country is in the middle of the Circum-Pacific Belt, more commonly known as the Ring of Fire, a place known for its earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Outside of Puebla, you'll find the smallest volcano, Cuscamay. The volcano is only 43 feet tall and looks like a tiny hill. Along with being home to the smallest volcano, Mexico has the largest ancient pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Cholula is the largest monument ever created globally. If you asked most people where the largest pyramid on Earth is located, 99% would likely say Egypt. However, the largest pyramid is the Great Pyramid of Cholula in Cholula, Mexico. The Great Pyramid is located underneath the Nuestra Señora de los Remedios Cholula Church. Incredibly, this massive pyramid is mostly buried underground. When the Spanish conquistadors invaded Mexico, they put Catholic churches right on pre-existing temples. The Great Pyramid of Cholula was constructed in honor of one of the central Aztec gods, Quetzalcoatl. It is massive at 4.5 million cubic meters, and visitors can tour many of its underground passageways when visiting Cholula. Many foodies travel to Mexico for authentic Mexican cuisine. The most adventurous of foodies may stroll through a market and buy grasshoppers, scorpions, and spiders to enjoy during your next meal. This may be a horrifying sight for the average Joe, but some of these crawly critters have great flavor. Why else would you find the people of Mexico selling them for consumption? If you can get over the oddness of eating bugs, you'll find some tasty treats that are high in protein and, of course, are organic. There are tons of edible insects in Mexico to choose from. It wasn't meat that got the Aztecs through the day, and it was fat-free bugs they found roaming the grounds. If you feel risky, sample a delicious critter during your travels in Mexico. According to archaeological evidence, modern-day Mexico has been inhabited for about 23,000 years, and tribes began to settle in the area around 7,000 years ago due to the high quantity of beans and maize found growing in the region. One of the earliest organized tribes was the Olmecs, who were centered around the Gulf Coast from around 1,500 BCE. The cultural characteristics of this group spread throughout the country, and other tribes began to embrace and advance the group's ideas, including the Mayan. From around 300 BCE, Mayan settlements began to spring up in areas from the northern Yucatan Peninsula to today's Guatemala. For centuries, the empire dominated the region. However, it began to decline and eventually fell in the 8th century. It is debated whether the Toltecs, who became the next civilization to control the area, actually sacked Teotihuacan, or their power-hungry leaders led to their demise. The new clan constructed a new capital, Cholula, about 50 miles north of today's Mexico City. While their reign was particularly influential on the culture of future civilizations, it didn't last long, collapsing around the end of the 11th century. A century of tribal disputes and political struggles passed before the power vacuum was eventually filled by a tribe of vicious mercenaries known as the Aztecs. Arriving in the Valley of Mexico around 1248 from the deserts of Rio Grande, the nomads started to settle. they began constructing what was to become the world's biggest city, Tenochtitlan. This city eventually became a city-state spanning most of modern-day Mexico. The Aztecs used the surrounding canals as causeways and routes to the shore. Although several raised gardens were constructed around the island, the city initially lacked the harcas to feed the population. As the empire grew, supplies had to be sourced from elsewhere. The Aztecs were fiercely religious, with the blood offering an integral part of their belief. As a result, human sacrifice to the gods was commonplace, leading to endless wars with local tribes. By the time the Spanish conquistadors arrived in 1519, the Aztec kingdom of Tenochtitlan was one of the world's densest areas, with around 1.5 million. By the time the Aztec king Moctezuma gave courts a showdown, the conquistador had amassed 6,000 indigenous allies. Although the king had a chance to trap the Spaniards while they stayed in Tenochtitlan, he was captured. Almost a year passed until full-scale riots broke out between the locals and invaders, culminating in the death of Moctezuma, a temporary retreat of the conquistadors, and their eventual return with 900 soldiers and an estimated 10,000 native allies. The continent's greatest city was razed within months, building by building. The Spanish then consolidated power in their latest colony, which they named New Spain. Mexico City evolved into a Spanish-style city within a few centuries with plazas, avenues, cathedrals, and majestic buildings. Many wealthy Spaniards emigrated to enhance their gold and silver mines fortune. However, by the 19th century, defeat in Spain at the hands of the French and discontent throughout Mexico's upper classes due to soaring taxes ignited the sparks of rebellion. In October 1810, about 80,000 independent rebels defeated Spanish loyalists, but were unable to completely take control of the city, leading to more than a decade of fidgeting before independence was achieved. Following independence, the country's rule passed back and forth between liberal and conservative parties. During this time, General Antonio López de Santa Anna is a recurring leader who is famous for leading Mexico into the Mexican-American War of 1846 to 1848 and losing a considerable amount of territory. After a brief 5-year spell of French occupation in the 1860s, Mexico moved into an era of despotic stability and prosperity under the dictatorship of Porfirio Diaz. During his 35 years in power, Mexico was transformed from a one-city, backwater colony into a booming country built on foreign investment, increased industry, and political repression. However, during Santa Anna's tenure, only small minorities accumulated wealth while the rest of the country suffered, eventually leading to the Mexican Revolution. Over the next decade, leaders and parties came and went, the fighting roared on, and an estimated 1.5 million Mexicans lost their lives. The 1920s saw peace restored, and Mexico was put on the path to recovery. Artists flourished in the liberal capitals, the industry thrived, and Mexico City began its meteoric rise to become one of the America's largest cities. The rural poor flocked to the thriving city throughout the 1970s in search of work, creating slums and ungoverned neighborhoods on the outskirts of town. Today, the capital has an estimated 22 million inhabitants, and its massive growth has brought with it some of the world's worst traffic and pollution. A significant part of Mexican culture since the pre-Columbian era, literature has thrived in this diverse nation. From the famous Mesoamerican poet Nezahualcóyotl to the colonial scribes of Juan Ruiz to Alarcón and Juan Inés de la Cruz, and later José Vasconcelos, the country's great literature paints a picture of this colorful country's past. Music is at the center of Mexican society, with a wide range of genres found throughout the area. From the world-famous mariachi bands present on all special occasions to some of the region's top DJs performing at lively venues and clubs, it's difficult to escape pulsating beats in this part of the world. Mexico has long been recognized for its high-quality cinema productions, stretching back to the post-World War II days when its movie industry was comparable with Hollywood. In recent years, Mexican film has become prominent on the world stage, raising international interest. Well, guys, that's all we have for you today. Did you know about the history of Mexico? Get involved and let us know in the comment section down below what you think about today's video. If you liked this video and found it informative, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any new future videos like these, then be sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification under this video so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you have a great day today, and we'll see you in the next video.